of the United States.
Here it comes, the warning.
I have just now vetoed the Defense Authorization Bill in the Oval Office. I think my reasons for this action can be plainly stated, if not seen. The bill would signal a basic change in the direction of our national defense, a change away from strength and proven success and back toward weakness and accommodation of the 1970s. This decade opened with a weakened national defense, totalitarian expansionism, and growing regional conflicts. All of these trends, as we move toward the close of the 80s, are being reversed. I just returned from Moscow after signing the first nuclear arms treaty in history that reduces nuclear missiles. There's a Soviet pullout underway in Afghanistan. We see progress in settling regional conflicts such as Cambodia and Angola, and even in the Iran-Iraq war. Because of our military presence and strong stand in the Persian Gulf, there is hope of a settlement. We're also cautiously hopeful about democratic reform within the Eastern Bloc itself. American prestige and power have been restored. We've dampened aggression and promoted peace, and we've come to an even greater realization of how much our renewed military strength has meant to all of us. But over time, the defense bill that I've just vetoed would have placed in jeopardy all of these diplomatic and strategic advances. It would endanger progress in arms negotiations by giving away our negotiating leverage without getting a single thing in return from the Soviets. And this I shall not do. Second, the bill would gravely endanger the SDI program. No development has been more crucial to the progress in arms reduction negotiations than our decision 5 years ago to proceed with the Strategic Defense Initiative. The importance placed on this system by the Soviets is evidenced not only by the 20-year-long development of their own SDI, but by their actions at the 1986 summit. The American people understand the simple truth, the elementary logic of having in place a defensive system that can protect this nation from nuclear missile attack and may someday free the world of the nightmare of nuclear terror. And the American people have repeatedly expressed their agreement with this position. However, the way this bill restricts our proposed space-based interceptors would cripple the very concept of a space shield against nuclear attack. And I will not abide this, particularly in view of the technical progress that SDI is making. They say this bill would take the stars out of Star Wars. With my veto today, I'm putting back the I, initiative, in SDI. So the nearly 20% cut in SDI funding, combined with the congressional restriction on the space-based component of the program, amounts to this gutting SDI. As I say, I will not abide it. I do not believe the American people will either. And again, I want to emphasize that this bill would mean unilateral concessions to the Soviets, concessions that would reduce my bargaining leverage at the conference table at the very moment when that leverage has produced its most fruitful results. It cuts by 25% our strategic modernization funding request at the very moment when we're negotiating a strategic arms reduction treaty. It represents congressional micromanagement, not only of key strategic defense programs, but of delicate arms negotiations. It would set a dangerous precedent of tying presidential hands in arms negotiations. I have been patient as the liberals in Congress attempted to erode our military strength, the strength that has provided the basis for our diplomatic success. But I can be patient no longer. Congress needs to get back to work and come up with a bill I can sign. These are issues of national security, and they must remain above partisan politics. Yes.
Mr. President, what about the fact that the Democrats have in this bill more money than you in fact asked for? So how do you respond to those who say that this is a political gambit on your part, that this is partisan politics for George Bush against Mike Dukakis, and that you're vetoing a bill that would actually spend more on defense than you would even ask Congress for?
Well, the partisan politics is on the other side. And the fact that the total of the bill is within the budget requirements. It is the fact that inside they have taken upon themselves to change where the spending is going to take place. and remove it from some things and add it to others.
What's partisan about that? That's what Congress and the executive do all the time.
I don't
Make
think,
choices.
I think there has to come a time when you depend on the experts and the people and the military experts and all, and your own knowledge of what and where the money is most needed in the military, and not on what they've been doing, for example, because we know that there is a partisan position in which there are a great many there who just don't want SDI at all. Well, I think they're bucking the tide, because we've proven that SDI can be practical and can be a method of protecting us against a nuclear attack, and I think the overwhelming majority of the American people want that kind of protection.
Mr. President, given the lateness in both the congressional season and the political season, do you not now risk getting no bill at all, or a continuing resolution that would give you even less of what you seek in terms of defense? In other words, how much of this is going to result in an actual change as far as the budget is concerned, and how much sets the stage for a political debate later in the campaign?
Well, I think we have to recognize that the Senate had a good bill on this, and one that would have been appropriate, and in conference they gave up too many things, and I just think that they have to recognize that we've got to come together and recognize each other's views on what is necessary and what is essential.
Well, do you expect another bill before Congress goes out?
Well, the appropriations bill, as it stands, is one that I could sign and would sign.
Mr. President, are you ready to retract statements that you made when we downed the Iranian airliner? It seems that the report will show, apparently, according to reports today, that the crew panicked, and that actually this sort of thing could probably happen again.
Well, Helen, I've read and seen and heard what is being said about the report, and assigning the blame to the people in the radar room who were interpreting the radar signals and all, but I can't comment because actually neither the military nor my office have received the report as yet. And as soon as we receive it and can go over it and study it ourselves, then we'll be able to comment. But
No preliminary indications?
No, and I don't think that we could consider the report final until it has been submitted now. And how it is escaped, and before this took place, I have to feel the process has not been concluded.